214 for 2 at the Savai Mansingh Stadium. Comfortably the highest score at this venue that we've seen in IPL 2023. Led from the front by a blazing batting display from Rajasthan's top three. Yashasvi Jaiswal started like a express train, much like the New Delhi Jaipur Shatabdi. Started off brilliantly, but unfortunately had a halt. Got dismissed in the most unfortunate way. Hold out straight to the guy at short third man. Joss the boss, for one time he looked like breaking Virat Kohli's record. 5 centuries he had already gotten. He could have had a 6th, but he missed a Yorker from Bhubaneswar. Out for 95. Second time he's been out for 95 in the IPL. But Sanju Samson, 66 of 38 balls, 4 fours and 5 sixes. 214 for 2. And safe to say that when the tournament is reaching the business end, Joss firing, Sanju firing, Yashasvi firing. Now Rajasthan Royals have gotten that fantastic, it is really brilliant, I may say. So, the highest total that Rajasthan Royals have gotten in Jaipur this season. Wow, what can we say about firstly Joss Buttler's performance?
Across all IPLs.
Is it? That I don't know. I know maybe. It is for this. For this season, I definitely know it is. But Joss the boss, what can you say about his knock?
I'd like to start from Yashasvi Jaiswal because he's going after the bowler from the very first ball. And it's not like he's coming 1 down or 2 down. He's the opener. And to step out and hit on the very first ball, this proves what kind of, intent Yashasvi Jaiswal is coming from. And Joss Buttler, of course, we've seen what he can do. Last year, completely set the stage on fire, and this year he's doing it as well.
After a lean patch, if I may add, because when he had a lean patch of 4 to 5 games, Rajasthan were really struggling. They lost 4 out of the 5 games that they played. Yeah. So now they are back. Fantastic way of 214 for 2. But yet again, forever we have this conundrum called Sanju Samson. When he fails spectacularly. When he succeeds spectacularly. Harshit, Sanju Samson, now yet again all the fans will come out and say, oh Sanju for India, Sanju for the World Cup, Sanju for this and all that. Has this knock kind of dispelled the notion that he's inconsistent, or do you think he's still a roller coaster when it comes to batting?
I think with Sanju Samson, the expectation is such that perhaps at times you think, will those expectations ever be met?
Yes.
And where he is right now, it has again been a typical Sanju Samson kind of an IPL. Started on a high, went through a lean patch, got some runs finally today after like a couple of matches that he wasn't really firing for. But today, look at the rate at which he scored those runs. But I'll just go back to saying something that I remember saying on the show a couple of weeks back, or maybe when the tournament had started. For Sanju Samson to be really, slamming that door down as far as the BCCI and the selectors are concerned. If he needs to knock that door down, he needs to come up with an IPL season. The numbers are so impressive. It's got to be like a 500 run season or something, or a 450, 500 run season for him to really, knock that door down. And it's still not happened yet. And that's when I say, that those expectations are just so huge. You never know if they will be met or not. He's been a consistent IPL guy for more than a decade now.
Consistently inconsistent IPL.
Consistent guy. Again, he's one of those who it's like having an asset that sort of, let's say it's like having one of those cannons which will fire big at times, and at times it'll just be a damn squib. It's like that with Sanju Samson at times. But again, and every time with Sanju Samson, the interesting thing is, he won't really, fall short massively. He'll do enough to create a buzz, and he's again doing that. But I just wish, as let's say somebody who admires Sanju Samson, I just hope in this business end now that he and his team both manage to get these runs. I hope they can now end, let's say, this league stage just the kind of way that they've started the tournament for themselves with those, couple of wins and all. So if that can happen, it bodes well for his form firstly, and for the team as well, given the timing at which now that this knock has come. If in those 3 to 5 games, and that totally depends on where RR finished this season, if Sanju Samson can score the amount of runs that he scored, or let's say, even 15 odd runs, 20 runs short every time that he bats from now on, then maybe you will really be looking at a strong case for Sanju Samson. That's not to say that the guy hasn't done enough, but with some guys, it's always the thing. Some will have that long rope, some will find it hard to get in. With Sanju Samson, given his talent, given the fact that in the Indian team weren't really looking for somebody who could keep the wickets as well, because you had a KL Rahul all along, you had a Rishabh Pant, so that opening wasn't there for him, and that was the unfortunate part of him not being inducted into the team.
It's something similar to what happened when MS Dhoni came onto the scene, because you had someone similar, Rishabh Pant, who's playing a big part in the Indian team, and all these other
rather Dinesh Karthik, I would say. Dinesh Karthik could not for a decade be preferred over Mahendra Singh Dhoni, because Dhoni gave you something that DK couldn't.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. And when you have someone like a Rishabh Pant keeping your wickets, and the way that he plays, the way that he bats, the other wicket keeping batters are bound to get overshadowed by it.
And Gargi had pointed out one more thing. Yes, you're right. It is the highest ever team score at the Savai Mansingh Stadium ever in the history of the IPL. So before all those RR fans and all those other guys come for my blood, I will again say it. Yes, it is the highest ever team total that RR have registered in the history of the IPL at the Savai Mansingh Stadium. Okay.
Good for RR.
It is good for RR, and remember, they were also coming off a bad run, because in the previous game at the same venue, they were absolutely pummeled by the Gujarat Titans. From that low to have registered a high, and SRH didn't do themselves any favors. Look at the balls that the spinners were bowling, either too short or either too full. Easy pickings for the likes of Buttler and Samson to go for the kill, because look how many you hit in their partnership. The total knock that they have hit, 14 4s and 9 6s.
A lot of them were in the slot, if I recall. A lot of them. All it was just about making some room and just playing. Lot of the when batsmen's playing in the V, and you saw that with Buttler and Samson, the number of sixes that were being hit straight down the ground, those balls were all over pitched.
But I think that those mistakes from the bowlers had to, I think, this is my opinion, came from the way Yashasvi had started off. He put a lot of pressure on the bowlers and kind of forced them to make mistakes. That's what I believe.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong in that, because you remember in the game against Chennai Super Kings also, the way he went after Akash Singh, and it threw Chennai's plans totally awry. Whenever Yashasvi Jaiswal has gone on the attack, opposition bowlers have floundered. They can't fall back on a plan B, because if Yashasvi starts attacking, he sustains that attack.
And then you've got a Joss Buttler on the other end.
That is why, see, the problem what happened in this is Yashasvi was the aggressor. Why did Joss Buttler have to change his natural way of attacking and just be focusing on defense? Because he would play second fiddle. But imagine both Yashasvi and Joss going hammer and tongs at the other end with the confidence that you've got a Sanju, you've got a Hetmeyer, you've got a Dhruv Jurel. Why would somebody want to be the anchor at the top of the innings? That is something which flummoxed me in the last 4 to 5 games, but today they have addressed everything, because see, barring Hetmeyer, who came in for just 5 balls, every batter in excess of 170 strike rate. Samson, Buttler, and Buttler, remember, it was that vintage Buttler, took his time, he chose which bowler to attack, and then he never looked back. In this case, unfortunately, it was Mayank Markanday. Markanday, the team's best spinner and possibly one of the best bowlers. Today he went for runs.
11 wickets, he's their highest wicket taker.
4 overs, none for 51 today. So SRH, their plan to, you may say, curb the run scoring in the middle could not happen.
It again and just boils down that's where a lot of the credit has to go to the RR openers, and it's not for the first time. Their template is to go out and attack, and which is why, let's say, it coincided with them losing 4 out of the last 5 games, coincided with the poor form, let's say, of Joss Buttler in particular. He was really short of runs. But look what has happened today. The moment those two were fired at the top, the moment you have a very good start, and that you've seen with this pair, the strike rate at which they operate, if they both stick around there for the first 5 to 6 overs, I think they're the second best in the business.
They are, and it's not going to be easy for Sunrisers Hyderabad at all because their batting is unfortunately very, very paper thin. And you're going to see Mayank Agarwal as one of the impact players, but he himself has struggled.
Yeah.
The only regret that I have, I mean, in this entire knock, yes, 214 for 2, brilliant. But we didn't get to see Joe Root bat in his first major. I mean, imagine, for 10 years, he was the only one among the Fab Four who did not play the IPL. Today, he could have done it, but he didn't get a chance.
But there's one more thing that I regret.
What?
And that's all of us again horribly getting our predictions wrong.
No?
Yeah.
She got it very near. 198 she had said.
But we're all 20 runs short, 15 runs short.
But then it has to come to who's the closest, na?
Nah, yeah, 15, 20 runs IPL.
I'm 39 runs off.
See, in the day also you were good.
Everybody was off in the GT LSG game. Forget
That was against destiny, the way they
It
played.
was, yeah. So Shubham, let's take some super chats, and Shubham is like saying, Sangakkara has the best job in the world. Imagine coaching an Avengers team: Buttler, Samson, Root, Ashwin, Zampa, Chahal, Bolt, Hetmeyer, and Paragas Thanos. Oh God, really? That kind of comparison? I'm not sure the Avengers thing. I mean, my two younger colleagues would definitely.
I'm not.
You're not an Avengers fan.
I'm not. Yeah, I tried to, let's say, cultivate the interest,
Into the
generate
cult?
the interest. It didn't happen.
No,
No.
I think I've barely seen 2 movies and I don't even remember.
I've seen more than 2, and remember during lockdown, I remember I made it a point. I had a proper list to I think it's called the MCU, the
Yeah.
Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think that's what it stands for. So I went through the whole thing. I remember reaching. I think I saw the one in which Thanos was introduced. So first 6-7 movies I remember seeing. And then after that, I lost interest.
Yeah, it's all abba dabba jabba for me because I am desi. I only watch desi stuff. I don't watch all these things. So sorry, Shubham, for that. And that is why it's going to be a big issue. Yeah, I mean, Puryan Paragas Thanos. I'll have to really search on that. So, okay. Hamstring injury, something, there's a lot of banter between
GGK and SR.
And SR. GGK, remember, is a full-fledged Sanju Samson lover, and we really thank him for that, because see, he gives us perspective. If you follow someone very closely, he will give you facts, he'll give you analysis, which we as a detached analyst might not be able to do it. So kudos to GGK for backing him, and remember, even he also felt the full brunt when Sanju Samson was not doing well. But now Sanju has done really well, 66 of 35 balls, 194 strike rate. Absolutely brilliant stuff from Sanju. And yes, unfortunately for Sanju Samson, his career coincided with 2 things. 2014, that was the time of peak MS Dhoni. There was no other keeper anywhere in the universe who was near MS Dhoni when it came to batting, when it came to skills. So Sanju had to wait. When Dhoni was nearing his fag end, unfortunately, you say no, knocking the door down, absolutely banging it down. Rishabh Pant had that blockbuster 2016-17 season. Fastest Ranji 100, triple 100, IPL brilliance of over 600 runs. He just burst the door open.
And it's no secret that he was being groomed by MS Dhoni to take over.
Absolutely. And that grooming, what has happened, he is one of India's greatest match winners outside of India. He's won you tests that even MS Dhoni couldn't win. In Sena countries.
Yeah, Sena countries, he has hundreds already, MS doesn't.
MS doesn't. No wicketkeeper has in the Sena countries, by the way.
So it's incredible.
He's done it in South Africa, he's done it in Australia, he's done it in England, except in New Zealand where he's not performed. But
New Zealand, he's not travelled only, no?
And that 2022 tests he played.
Very rare talent.
Yeah, so that's why now with Rishabh Pant injured and KL Rahul also in very dodgy territory, the time is now for Sanju. But will India's fickle rotation and selection policy help Sanju this time? Because some cards have to align in place also.
So it can't be more aligned, I would say. It cannot be more aligned. In a World Cup year, with all these injuries, let's say, happening, it's unfortunate that he needs injuries to sort of get into the team, given his talent and given his numbers.
Yes.
But let's not forget, he did misfire a couple of times last year when he was playing. But again, the other side of that is you don't give somebody a consistent run, it is something that is bound to happen.
Remember, Sanju Samson, if he doesn't capitalize, he only has himself to blame, because yet again, he was undone by the management also because he was touted as a finisher in the ODIs.
He said it himself.
He said it himself because he was given that message. What happened? He's not been picked. Now his key thing will be the West Indies tour. That is a thing that is the tour that he'll have to really capitalize.
And then when you have Australia here.
If you pick Sanju for West Indies, you have to persist with him till the World Cup. There are no two ways about it. Give a clear message, Sanju, you are our finisher and wicket keeper for the World Cup. You are now going to play from June to November. And trust me, when you get that kind of message, you perform much better.
Yeah.
You can't be having the horses for courses thing which destroyed the Indian cricket team score from 2017 onwards. The dark period of Ravi Shastri and Virat Kohli's tenure, unfortunately, the dark underbelly. The records, numbers, they were fantastic. Absolutely marvelous. But the dark underbelly was that the horses for courses. You wouldn't know which player would play in which other game. That resulted in us just stagnating a bit. But at the end of the day, I wish Sanju is consistent from this point in time. Game number 11, game number 12, 13, 14. If they make it to the playoffs, even the eliminator or qualifier, let's hope Sanju is fit and he's consistent. That's what we want. So I am changing my prediction because you two had already predicted RR. I am changing my prediction because for the obvious reason, I don't see the SRH batters. They may come close, but I don't see them overhauling it. It'll be a record chase at the Savai Mansingh Stadium if it happens. So I see an RR win, and if it happens, Rajasthan Royals go to 3rd on the points table and Lucknow stay 4th. So that brings to an end a very intense double-header weekend, because remember, we only have 2 more double-header weeks now.
Yeah.
And it's
But
becoming
there will be
very
a couple
intense.
of midweeks, no? Midweek double headers, I guess.
I think there are no
There
midweek
is
double-headers.
one Thursday double header that's definitely there, if I'm not wrong.
No.
This week?
I don't think
Because in totality you had 3. If we're done with 2, I think there's one more coming up.
No. I think there's 2 left. Just 2.
I think that's it. This is the 2 weekend double-headers. That's about
That's it?
That's it. I think
hope
so.
so.
We've had 2 midweek double headers already.
Yes. So the impact sub has already been done for Sunrisers Hyderabad. It's Anmol Preet Singh. He replaces T. Natarajan. And whether he will have an impact on it, let's see. But it will not be easy. 3 spinners, Murugan Ashwin, Ravichandran Ashwin, Yajvendra Chahal. Uphill task for Sunrisers Hyderabad.
Yeah.
And okay, one more super chat and then we'll end it. What is the super chat? SP Roy. I don't think that's gonna happen. Sanju Samson been picked. They will prefer Ishan as he's ahead in the pecking order, and if KL's back, he'll be in the World Cup squad too. Point, SP Roy. Because Ishan Kishan has been travelling with the Indian cricket team, and that's a big indication that he is the backup and he will be fitting in the team
But
if there is
again,
an injury. Because Sanju is nowhere in the scheme of things.
But again, Ishan Kishan has been squandering his chances, let's not forget.
Agreed. Okay, among Ishan, Sanju.
So you need to take a call whether you are ready to have an informed Sanju Samson sit on the bench, warm the bench for you, or not even make it to the bench, which is only going to add insult to injury. But
okay, a snap poll from either of you. You can answer first, Gargi. Who has squandered the most opportunities in their quest to cement their place in the Indian cricket team? Sanju Samson or Ishan Kishan?
Sanju.
He squandered more opportunities.
In the Indian setup, when it comes to yes.
Okay.
I'll disagree. I think it's Ishan.
Okay, reason? Why do you think Sanju has squandered more than Ishan?
I mean, I think Ishan has a lot more performances when it comes to India.
Okay.
Does he? I'm not
Apart
very
from
sure
the
about
double
my answer.
hundred.
Double 100. Again, Nothing's come after that double 100.
And for Sanju?
And for Sanju, firstly, you don't have Sanju tour with the team, and
yeah.
that's the thing that I hold against the Indian team. That you've had Ishan Kishan travel with you, but you haven't had Sanju Samson travel as much.
True.
Just to add to that, the Indian team management, they could not have picked Sanju because rotten luck. He suffered a very bad knee injury.
injury.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. If you're looking at sheer numbers, then Sanju firstly hasn't gotten those opportunities. Two, if let's say not squandered, he has given you glimpses of why he should be there in the setup. So I don't think he's really gone out there and really squandered. With Ishan, I'll use the word squandered with much more vehemence, I would say, because I've seen him give away his wicket.
Yes.
We've seen him struggle to rotate the strike. We've seen him struggle when the ball's moving. And he's just played loose shots and he's given away his wicket.
I mean, just in the game against Chennai, horrible shot that he played. Got a top edge, and imagine his bad luck. Mahesh Tikshana took the catch. So indeed, he is. Okay, one last super chat yet again. I think it's SP Roy.
SP Roy
again.
does appear to
Yep. IPL is not a parameter to judge Ishan's ODI career. After that 200, he hasn't gotten too many chances too. And Rowe and Dravid believe in pecking order. Yeah, we are not taking the IPL as a parameter, SP Roy. That's not,
and I don't think it will be considered in Ishan's case either. But again, even without the IPL being considered, Ishan Kishan, after that 200, you had what, 2 series?
Yeah.
Australia and New Zealand?
Sri Lanka, New Zealand, and Australia.
3.
But again, Ishan didn't capitalize on that, and unfortunately, even for him, KL Rahul also got form.
He won you 2 matches.
He won you 2 matches. So that is why, again, it's that competition. Remember, it's that weird, that huge competition that's going on. One will obviously sit out, the other will get chances. It's a very shark eat shark world in the Indian cricket team at this point in time. So Sunrisers have made in this game 5 for no loss in 1.3. I think they needed to be about 15 or 20 after the end of this over. So it's going to be a very uphill task for them. Akash Bharadwaj, hold on to that point. We'll take that after the end of this game because we'll have a comprehensive outlook after the end of these 2 games. What are the key takeaways? Because yes, one eye, ear, everything is on the World Test Championship final also.
Yeah.
So thank you so much folks for joining us for this live. We'll be back for the match end to see whether Rajasthan Royals have moved to 3rd or has Sunrisers Hyderabad played the ultimate miracle, because it will be a record chase at SMS Stadium. So thank you folks for joining us. See you in the mid from me, Gargi and Harshit. Thank you. Bye-bye.